Elite Dangerous has a serious money problem. I mean, a gun would set you back 100,000 credits, but a 40-meter long warship with two giant laser cannons will set you back 40,000 credits. Tell me, how does that make any sense? And it doesn't even have to make logical sense, but in a gameplay perspective, it's also not really that logical. This is something that's been bugging me for a while. It's where you, even as a starter, as a new account, you can make millions in an hour, kind of circumventing the need to buy intermediary ships. Who buys the Asp Scout when you can spend 10 hours grinding? You can buy the Anaconda as a starter if you know what you're supposed to do. And I'm not saying that there has to be a wall, that people have to walk against, and that wall being 100 hours. When this game came out first, it was way too long. Everything took way too long. I'm pretty sure I spent about 50 to 60 hours figuring out the game and also making enough money to buy an USP Explorer, which is about 6 million. Now I can make, granted, I have the Panther Clipper, but I can make 250 million in an hour without really working that hard for it. And when Sothis and Sales came out in the old days, 7 years ago or 8 years ago, whatever, that was the way to get the Anaconda, and that would still take like a week to get the Anaconda. And then when you got the Anaconda, you'd be super proud and very excited because now you would have the Anaconda, which is this huge ship that everybody wanted back then. It was the biggest ship at that time as well. And so it would make sense, you would grind for a week and you would get the biggest ship in the game, or grind for a few weeks, or in my case, grind for like 80 hours. Um, I'm pretty sure I grinded for like 100 hours before I got the Anaconda, and I was also not that good. But I'm just saying, like, that's the way it was. And now, when you start up as a new player, and obviously it's nice for new players because new players can start up the game and they can, get ships fast. But tell me where it makes sense, where you have to buy a ship for 100,000 credits, and then you have to go to the store to buy a military suit, a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle, and that cost 500,000. Tell me where that makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. This is a space sim, right? It doesn't make sense. And I think that the prices are long overdue for overhaul. I think they should, like, 10x. Maybe that's a little bit over exaggeratory, but I'm just saying they should probably 5x the ship prices at this point because it doesn't make any sense. I understand that for people who want to have ship carriers, fleet carriers, or people who want to have a ship with prismatic shielding and with the military hull reinforcements and with guardian stuff and everything, then everything is a grind. You have to get the materials, you have to get the credits, everything is very expensive. I get that, but I do think it's kind of silly that you can start out in the game and you can skip 10 ships because now you buy ships because you want that specific ship, right? But when you see actual players flying a Viper or a Explorer or a Type 6 or Type 7, you see sometimes, but like you don't see them because people don't have the need to buy them because they are already 10 ships ahead of that in terms of price, because in Elite everything is set from price from low to high. So this is like really a gripe that I have because I feel that it doesn't really matter that much anymore in terms of how much credits you have. The only thing that matters for credits is having a fleet carrier, which is extremely expensive, and then being able to either build stations, which cost money but also not that much, or build or upgrade your ship into to far extents. I got an anaconda that's worth almost 1 billion, right? And the price of an anaconda is 100 million or 125 million. So I get that. I get that eventually everything is expensive because you want to upgrade your stuff, which is fine. But I think they should increase the base price of these ships. I think it's ridiculous that you can buy a gun for 100,000 and you can buy 3 ships for 100,000. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of insane. Um, so I just wanted to vent that. I feel like I can't be alone in thinking this. So if you guys agree or disagree with me, please let me know in the comments down below. But I just want to get this off my chest. I really hope that they are going to actually do something about this because it's kind of ridiculous. I also don't think that it's that big a deal to make everything more expensive because people are making so much money right now, especially if you follow channels like my own. You see a money making thing that's hot this week. That's 300 million an hour. Even and then you have a community goal which gives you 160 million for participating at the lowest freaking amount. 160 million for shipping 1,000 tons or something. Like you could do that in a hauler. If you do it 20 times, fair enough. But you can do it in a hauler, and then you have 160 million. Then you can skip every single ship up until the Type 10, I guess. Like, why? Why do people get 160 million for a community goal? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense for people who are, for I guess the reason is that there's a lot of people playing that need that money to have upkeep for their fleet carriers and stuff, and they don't want to be grinding 10 years, to keep that up. So I see why there's a reason for it, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Not in a financial reason, but also not in a lore reason. Like, why on earth would this company give everyone 160 million, which is apparently a whole fleet of ships, right? Which is apparently literally 160 Cobra. Holy, what am I saying? 320 Cobras. It doesn't make any sense. Every single person who participates in it gets that. So I don't know. It kind of it's almost immersion breaking. I know my immersion, but I'm still it's kind of weird. So anyway, I just want to get that off my chest. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, this gripe. Hope you guys enjoyed the background video or whatever. Yeah, let me know if you guys agree or not. So anyway, see you guys later. Cheers.